Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tim Petey and welcome to yet another book review, or in this case, a comics review. No, I do not plan on doing these regularly, but since I am an avid Star Wars fan, I thought it would be best if I reviewed one of the newest Star Wars comic series to finish recently. In this case, Star Wars Legacy. But is it the sign of a great legacy to follow, or a terrible legacy to leave behind? Let's find out. Lower the gates! As with anything in a review, let's start out with one of the most essential parts of the work in question, its story. The story of Legacy is that a group of Sith known as the One Sith, led by Darth Krayt, have allied with the Empire. The Sith sabotaged a Jedi effort to terraform worlds using Yuuzhan Vong technology, causing horrific mutations and deaths instead of renewal. The Imperials used this as an excuse to declare war against the Galactic Alliance, and eventually defeated them in a final battle above Kamas. The only survivors were Admiral Gar Stasi and a small remnant of Galactic Alliance ships. The Jedi Order was decimated, and most of the remaining Jedi fled to Ossus. Emperor Fel ordered that they be left alone, but the Sith attacked and killed most of the Jedi anyway, including Cole Skywalker, head of the Jedi Order. The only people to escape were Cole's son Cade, his former Padawan Wolf Sazin, and a number of younglings. Cade flew into a rage upon seeing his father's death and took a fighter to engage the Sith head-on. The Jedi escaped, but Cade's craft was disabled until pirates picked him up to scavenge the battle. 7 years pass, and Cade is now working as a bounty hunter with a man named Jiraiya Sin and a female Zeltron named Delia Blue. He uses death sticks to dull his connection to the Force and forget about his past. He even turns a Jedi over to the Empire for the bounty on his head. However, things start to heat up for Cade when the Empire and the Sith find out that he is a former Jedi, and it becomes even more of a chase when they find out that Cade has an innate ability to heal people using the dark side of the Force, even bringing people back from the brink of death. The One Sith is led by Darth Krayt, who has been alive for over 150 years by being put into a stasis field for extended periods. After the Clone Wars, while working as a bounty hunter, Krayt tracked a bounty to Korriban. While there, he found a Sith holocron from an ancient Sith lord named Zo Zan, who trained him in the dark side. After he completed his training, he left for the unknown regions, where he was captured quickly by a Yuuzhan Vong scout ship. While imprisoned there, he met Verguri, a former Jedi who had been taken by the Vong before the Clone Wars. The Vong replaced his mechanical arm that he had lost to Obi-Wan Kenobi before becoming a bounty hunter with a new organic one. While there, he received a vision of the One Sith and soon escaped to do his best to make it a reality. Now, over 100 years later, he is being consumed by his Vong implant and is seeking Cade Skywalker, who he believes is the only person who can heal him. Now that I have the backstory of the two biggest characters out of the way, let's talk about the overall story finally. Fortunately, it's pretty damn good. The Empire and the Sith working together does make a good bit of sense. And the war with the Galactic Alliance also makes a good deal of sense because the only things really keeping that alliance together were Admiral Pellaeon and Jag Fell's connections to the Galactic Alliance and people within it. Overall, the story really does make sense and the backstory really comes together to build this plausible situation. The story is also a good evolution of 80 years down the line from the current book series called Fate of the Jedi. It gives a lot of hints as to what may come to pass so that the final result is Legacy. Jag Fell fathers a dynasty of emperors that have Force sensitivity introduced into their line somewhere, the Skywalkers remain at the head of the Jedi, and so on and so forth. In addition, Darth Krayt is a pretty decent villain, though a bit contradictory. There is a point where he uses the holocrons of a few old Sith at once, including Darth Bane. He tries to impress them with his One Sith philosophy, but it seems completely identical to Khan's failed Brotherhood of Darkness or any other Sith organization with a defined leader and numerous subordinates. Krayt likes to say that they are all equals, But he's obviously the leader in practice, and there is a definite hierarchy to their organization, so the whole one Sith ideal falls flat. However, he does have a powerful presence, both on a large scale and when he's confronted directly. He shows he honors strong enemies, but is ruthless to the core. I don't really want to go into any of the minor characters, mostly because there are so many of them. There's also a ton of organizations and groups to follow. The Sith, the Jedi, the Galactic Alliance Remnant, the Empire, Cade's group. There's just too many to count. Speaking of Cade, it's time to address the biggest problem in this series by far, Cade Skywalker himself. Before I begin, I would like to say that I can understand what Cade is supposed to be. He is the rebellious Skywalker who doesn't want to face his destiny as someone who will change the galaxy by his name alone. I understand that. What I cannot understand or justify is Cade's actions. Cade goes through so many character reversals in this series, it is mind-boggling. Between every single story arc, Cade reverts to his original "I'm angry at everyone and I want to run away from responsibility" mindset. Cade undergoes Jedi training for a while, then next issue he's forgotten all of his lessons. Cade has a serious conversation with his uncle about the dark side, but next issue he's back to normal. It boggles my mind how much Cade just does not change throughout this story. He forgets all of his father's training and completely devotes himself to dancing on the precipice of the dark side, ignoring all attempts to lead him back to safety. Nothing in this comic comes anywhere near how much this frustrates me. There have been times I've come so close to slamming the issue closed and never buying another one due to Cade's thick-headed skull. Don't forget, besides Cade Skywalker, the story in Legacy is excellent. There are a ton of characters to get involved in, and you will love reading every second of it without Cade on the page. Emperor Fel, Darth Krayt, Nat Skywalker, Moff Calixte. There's just too many to count. There are a ton of characters who really pop off the page and make this an engrossing story, but as I said, you must avoid Cade Skywalker like the plague. Emperor Roan Fel is really good, considering he is a great evolution of Jag Fel's character as leader of the Empire. He has become a solid, absolute leader of the Empire, and he rules with some arrogance, but he has that confidence and strength that Jag Fel had. He is the natural evolution of his character, and not only him, but everyone else is a great evolution of their past incarnations in earlier series. There is one more thing I would like to talk about before I end this rather short review: the art. Similar to graphics in video games, the art in comics, while not usually a make-or-break issue, does deserve inspection. Thankfully, the art here is overall very good. Though some of the designs are a bit odd and even kind of ridiculous, everything is very detailed and fits very well into the Star Wars look. Unlike the early Star Wars comics, which look like finger paintings by a child who'd never even seen a Star Wars movie. I'm looking at you, long time ago. These comics show great detail in both the characters and their environments. You have a great idea of what's going on in the scene you are looking at, and all the locales have their own unique feel that means you can often recognize where you are, even if you don't recognize one of the members of the cast you should probably remember. Finally, the biggest and most important question arises: do I recommend Star Wars Legacy? The answer is a tentative yes. You will have to get past Cade's ridiculous character traits and annoying as hell flip-flops, but other than that, you will have a great time reading these books. The characters are incredible, the locale's interesting, and the artwork is also very good. It will all draw you in and make you interested in the books. As I say though, you must get past Cade's ridiculousness. However, new Star Wars readers can also find a great series here. If you just want to read something with space battles, some Jedi, some Sith, you can have a lot of fun because you do not need to know most of the overall mythos of Star Wars. If you know what Star Wars is, you can enjoy these books. Except for a single crossover issue, you need to know nothing else about anything that's not general Star Wars from the old series. Now, at the end of Legacy, there is a very obvious cut. And this was leading into Legacy War, which is the next series in the books. However, this is only a few issues in, and we're not here to review that as of right now, though perhaps at a later date when the series is finished. But as I said, guys, I do tentatively recommend Star Wars Legacy. Until next time, guys, my name is Tim Petey, and I'll catch you guys next time. Even turns a Jedi over to the Sith Empire. No. Aya Blue. They all work to... No, god damn, why can't I remember that one? They use... No, my god, what do I keep saying? To follow.